Welcome to Thursday. As I'm just getting set here to go. Welcome to Thursday, everybody. And got a lot of stuff to talk about. I really should stop saying that because we have nothing to talk about. Yeah, we got a lot. Greg is back. There you go. Missed you yesterday, my boy. So now I feel better. Trader Jimmy Peluso. Nice, happy birthday to your son, Jimmy. Nice to see that. And, of course, Dale is here from the great state of Iowa. We got to welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Thursday morning. Guest Yvonne, good morning to you. I think I know you, but I'm not sure of that. Unholy Toledo is here. Pitches get stitches. Joel is here. Nice to see you, Joel. Joel will be bringing back his show. We'll tell you all about that tomorrow. George, back to his normal time on Sunday. Yes, it is. Back to his normal time on Sunday, 6:30. Ohio Angels fan is here, and a whole bunch of guests, and away we go. And Dominic Brown is ready to call it quits. Is that right? Dominic Brown is ready to call it quits. I am very upset. The guy who was compared to Darryl Strawberry for the Philadelphia Phillies is ready to call it quits without becoming Darryl Strawberry. Now, you're all, I think you're all hearing bits and pieces about the Mookie Betts deal. And just let me tell you a couple of things about the Mookie Betts deal. First of all, as I mentioned yesterday, if you're in a league that's an only league and you are now forced to lose Mookie Betts if you had him in an American League only, that's the dumbest rule in the history of fantasy sports, so get rid of that rule right away. Second thing is the value of Mookie Betts. We're all talking about Mookie Betts we're all excited, but I don't know of anybody who has raised this question other than Irwin's Willing when I talked to him yesterday. So, and here's the thing. Mookie Betts' value will go down. That's right. He is now going to go down in value by being traded to the Dodgers. And here's the reason why. I'm not talking about ballpark. I'm not talking about because he's going to the National League, and that is a little bit of a factor. But here's the big thing about Mookie Betts' value. He's not a second pick anymore. And I'll tell you why. He's not a second pick. Mookie Betts was not going to be a third pick. And here's the reason. Mookie Betts is batting leadoff in the National League. Now, a little different when you bat leadoff in the American League and you have the DH and you don't have the pitcher, but his RBI total will go down. And I'll bet anybody your bottom dollar. As a matter of fact, George, I won't even take your bottom dollar because I know where that's been. I'll take your middle dollar, and Mookie Betts will have a lot fewer RBI opportunities than he has had in the past, and that is a deal breaker. That's why Trey Turner is not a big RBI guy. It's not a big number one pick. I mean, otherwise Trey Turner would be a number two, number three. But when you take your number one, your first round pick, and he does not give you RBIs, that's a big deal. That is a huge deal. And now Mookie Betts will not be in a position to drive in runs. Okay, now does anybody, DK Lush, good morning to you. Thank you for buying the draft guide. Kevin is here. We got the Kansas City Royals on tap today, Kevin. So anything is possible. The Amazins, who is now making an offer to buy the New York Mets. All right, so there you go. Good morning. Good morning to guest Cliff. So that's my take on Leonard Donaldson is here. Good morning, Leonard. It must be a snow day. Good morning to Leonard Donaldson. Thank you so much, kiddo. Leonard, who I met at Unholy Toledo's house. Great guy. Love you, Len. Oh, man, what a great bunch of people. Okay, so that's my take on the Mookie Betts trade. He will lose value. That's all we care about, right? But the blockbuster three-way trade is, that sent Mookie Betts and David Price to the Angels has been held up. Now, remember, even though this may not seem like part of the deal, Betts and Price to the Dodgers, Verdugo and pitching prospect Bruce Starr Graterol to the Red Sox, Kenta Maeda to Minnesota. It's all a three-way deal. It was not completed Wednesday after being agreed upon Tuesday night. The Red Sox sources said they were spooked by medical review of Graterol, the hard-throwing 21-year-old right-hander. He has already undergone Tommy John surgery. He missed time in 2019 because of a shoulder injury, so alternative options to complete the deal exist. The players involved could be amended, as could the amount of money Boston is sending to L.A. to cover the portion of the $96 million still owed to Price. The Dodgers and Red Sox could theoretically opt for a two-team deal to involve a different third team. Graterol is currently with the Twins. The likelihood of the trade blowing up altogether is slim. Medical-related impasses are kind of typical, but they can be worked around. Maybe more money could be added. Maybe additional players could be added. But right now, if you have Mookie Betts on your American League only team, he is still on your American League only team. Okay? So we'll see. Okay? So, look, it was a three-way trade tied to the proposed deal in which the Dodgers sent Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling and prospect Andy Pages. I mean, so they sent Peterson, Stripling, Pages, and they sent all these players to the Angels for Luis Rengifo. Does that mean that Luis Rengifo was worth Peterson, Stripling, and Andy Pages, who's a nice-looking minor league prospect? Do not get caught up. Rengifo, look him up. He's okay, but he's nothing. He's not. It was simply a way to get underneath the $2,008 million luxury tax threshold. So the Red Sox motivation to dip beneath the threshold was the strongest point of the deal that motivated him to deal Mookie Betts. So, all right, it's a problem they can figure out, but just wanted to let you know that it's a problem. Graterol, the top pitching prospect, he was expected to be sent to Boston in exchange for Maeda. He was a kind of complicated, to tell you the truth. I didn't understand it yesterday. His elbow injury was in 2016 when he was 18 years old, okay? So the deal is an effort by the Twins to shore up their starting rotation. It would be Maeda, Odorizzi, Berrios, Homer Bailey in the rotation. Michael Pineda, who has been out with a drug suspension that ends in May. Free agent Rich Hill, likely out until July as he recovers from elbow surgery. So we'll see what happens. When Graterol came back, he reached Class AA last summer, was shut down in May after experiencing shoulder soreness. When he came back in August, though, Minnesota moved him to the bullpen to limit his workload. Then they called him up to the majors in September. He appeared in 10 games, and he totaled 9 2/3 innings, struck out 10, posted a 4.66 ERA, and the pitching coach, I think his name is Johnson, said last month that Graterol would remain a relief pitcher for the time being and could make his major league team debut during spring training. Now, here's the thing. He's got a great arm. His fastball and slider are rated very high, excellent pitches. But here's the problem. And I was talking to Lou Blassie about this. His 25% strikeout rate was reasonable in the majors, but his 9% swinging strike was subpar. Hitters did chase him at 40%, but both numbers were off small sample sizes of 9 2/3 innings. He spent most of his innings pitched in Double-A last year with a strikeout rate of 24% and an 11% walk rate. He has 2 quality pitches, okay? So-so control and command, all right? So the Twins weren't sure where to put him. And that tells me he's a reliever. He's just 20, but he doesn't have a strikeout pitch. And for the Red Sox, he's a good arm. He'll be useful in the bullpen, but not in leverage situations. So let's not take a good player in the offseason and make him a regular season star. Brandon Workman is the closer right now. So, look, you never know. You never know. But don't go in there rushing in saying we got a closer in greater all. He's got a great arm. Nah, come on, man. His name is greater all than his arm. All right, let me talk about Chris Bryant for a minute. Excuse me. Now, the blockbuster trade that the Dodgers made to acquire all-star outfielder Mookie Betts, that kind of leaves Chris Bryant, Francisco Lindor, and Nolan Arenado as the top potential trade candidates on the market. And in spite of the fact that the Dodgers made this deal, I may have said it yesterday, but I got to remind you, they didn't really give up any prime prospects. They did not give up any prime prospects. So, I'm telling you, could happen. Now, the Chicago Cubs, in my opinion, I've had some sources tell me they're on the verge of signing a second baseman. All right? Now, they added reliever Jeremy Jeffress. They added Steven Souza last week. And they are looking at second base. And I am being told that the second baseman they are looking at is a star from Northbrook, Illinois, home of Michael Melnick, my son. Good morning to SB Fan. Good morning to Timothy, my hooker. Zelmo is here. And Kip Happ is, King Happ is here. Jay Bass. George. Wow. Chris Gallo has joined us. Brooks is here. We got Amazing Met Fan and the Amazings in the same chat room. Good morning, Mr. Caprio. Okay, good morning, Mr. The Amazings. Great stuff here. All right, now, they're looking at, yeah, Brooks is right, Jason Kipnis from Northbrook, Illinois. You go into anything in Northbrook, Illinois, they got the swimming pool, they got the indoor stuff, they got great stuff. Kipnis' name is all over the place. He's everywhere. So would not be, but that's not the reason. I've heard that they're very interested in Kipnis, and he's also very interested in coming home. So he's 32. He became a free agent after the Indians declined to pick up his $16.5 million option in 2020. He could be the perfect balance to rookie Nico Horner. So Horner is there, but come on, give me a break. Kipnis, two-time All-Star, limited to 121 games. He didn't play for the final 2 weeks of the season. If you remember, he had that wrist surgery. Finished .245, 17 home runs, 60-something RBIs, and a source close to Kipnis says he's healthy and he's ready to go. And he would love to play in Chicago, okay? So the Cubs have also contacted Scooter Gennett, and they've also contacted, they did sign Carlos Aswaji, whatever his name is, okay? So we'll see. The Cubs could be on the verge of signing Jason Kipnis, and wouldn't that be good? And, of course, with Chris Bryant, going to be interesting to see how that pans out, okay, with Mr. Chris Bryant. So don't forget, the Mookie Betts deal is going to be settled, but make sure that you do not have that rule if you're in an only league, and I understand that some of you are not thrilled with only leagues, but if you have that, if your player gets traded to the other league, you don't lose him. So now, after winning the National League East in 2019, the Atlanta Braves, all they did was they added the best relief pitcher on the market, Will Smith. And don't forget, Mark Melancon is scheduled to be the closer in Atlanta, not Will Smith. Mark Melancon scheduled to be the closer. Now, he could lose the job, but right now the lineup has Melancon as the closer, okay? They replaced Dallas Keuchel with Cole Hamels. They improved their catching with Travis d'Arnaud. The betting markets responded and gave the Braves the second-best odds to win the World Series in the National League behind the Dodgers. who essentially had stayed pat. It didn't change when the Braves replaced Josh Donaldson with Marcell Ozuna, but now the Dodgers have made the deal. Okay?